a farm up by the foothills, and we had downstairs there was the kitchen, what we called the dining room, and the parlor. And upstairs was 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. And we always had running water. We had 2 cisterns up above the house up in the hill, and these would fill up with water from a spring. They'd settle out in the cisterns, and then it was piped into the house. I imagine it was a full block that it was piped by the time it got down there. And so we were pretty lucky. We were some of the few around there that had running water. But Mother had to wash on the board, and we would help her by wringing out the clothes and hanging them on the clothesline, which was a big job. We would churn our own butter. First we had a churn that in kind of a crockery, tall jar thing, and we'd go up and down like this here. Later on we got a glass one, and it had paddles in it, and you'd turn it like this, and it would churn the butter. And we'd sell butter, we'd sell cream. Mom had chickens, and I can't remember whether she sold eggs or we ate an awful lot of eggs, but every now and again she'd save up eggs and let us go to town and buy treats. And we'd all take turns going to town and picking out what we wanted for a treat. And when I was just 5, Ina was married, and then a few years later she had Norma, and they were home quite a bit. So they came home to Fairview to live, or they would sometimes move in with us because the Depression was on then. And so Norma and I became really close. And Dell and Deloy was more my age. There was Eugene and Ina and Thelma and Rex that was older, and then there was sort of a space in there, and then myself and Dell and Deloy. And so our jobs, we did a lot of cow herding. Probably, you just can't imagine what a boring job that is till you have to do it. We'd have to take the cows out, right after breakfast in the morning, and we'd stay until about noon, and then we'd come in and we'd stay in until about 2, have to take them back out until it was time to milk them. So this is where I learned to love to read. I'd take my books with me, and I'd do a lot of reading out there. And for when we'd go to church on Sunday, we usually went there was enough of us that we had a 2-seated buggy, and it had a black fringe top. It was black leather up over the top, and then around the top of it, hanging down, was little gold braids. It was really fancy. And Dad always kept a team of good horses that he used on this buggy. He was really proud of his horses. And then as the family dwindled down, he got a single-seated buggy. We had one old horse that he used special on this here buggy, but it seemed like she got wise when it comes Sunday, and she'd get the colic, and she'd go lay down and roll around and groan, and Dad didn't know whether she was really sick or not. So a lot of the times we couldn't take this here horse because he didn't know whether she was sick. So he'd have to hook up 2 other horses, and we'd have to go in the wagon. But I can't remember how the meetings worked, whether they were all together or what. But there was a lot of people that had to go a long ways, and we went in, with teams. There wasn't too many people that had cars. And whether they had the meetings all at once, we had Sunday school and sacrament meeting together, I can't remember. But I remember sometimes in the summer we would take lunches. Everybody would take up their food, and then we'd spread it out on the lawn, and everybody eat together, and then we'd come home. And what else can I think of? Oh, for pastime on Sunday afternoons, we'd ride horses, go to see our friends. And that was one job I had, was to go get the mail, and sometimes I'd be too lazy to walk down and get the mail. It's about a mile away. So I'd get on a horse and go down there, and the saddle was too heavy for me to put on the horse, so I'd get on bareback, and usually I'd fall off at least once going down there.
Hurt?
No, the horse would wait for me, and we'd get over by the fence, and I'd get back on her. And I had some very good friends in my growing up days. We had a lot of fun. I went down to Leah Rasmussen's and stayed a lot, and she came up to my house and stayed. We had some real good times. And the whole families would get together. They had a lot of Rasmussens and us would get together and have our meals together. And one time I remember particularly, we went to Rasmussen's, and when we thought it was just about time that the folks was going to be saying, let's go home, why they hid me under the grain, in the grain bin, so that my folks couldn't find me, so I could stay. And they hunted and hunted, but I didn't get to stay. And we had a swimming pool between Dad and Mr. Rasmussen. They made a swimming pool for us. And in the hot afternoon when we weren't herding the cows, why, all the kids would get together and go over there and swim in this big pool. It was really nice when there was a spring, had a spring going in, and then it had an outlet. And it was a nice pool.
Just dirt?
Yeah, just dirt, And we'd build us a raft, and we'd paddle around in there. And
That'd be funner than a normal swimming pool. Why don't we just dig a spring in our backyard?
And then for school, I can't remember riding anything but a school bus. I don't the older kids, they had to ride in a wagon, but I don't remember that I ever did. But the worst thing about that was that we had to walk down this lane, and it was a mile, and then that wasn't so bad, but it was the standing and waiting, because the school bus would get, wasn't always on time because of the heavy snow, and so we'd get terribly cold sometimes just standing and waiting for the school bus to come.
Jenny wants to know if the school bus looks about like ours.
They were yellow, just about like they are now, as I remember. About the same thing. Well, that's about all I can think of right now.
That night or something.